Hello from England. In this old church in a fashionable part of London, there is a food bank. One of the 101 food banks in London. In the United Kingdom there are around 400, and the goal is that every town to have one. Last year there was a 76% increase in the number of food banks, and about a threefold increase in the number of people coming to the food banks, because they had nowhere else to go. Who can use the bank? How many people come to the bank? Who works in the bank? These and many other questions I put when I chatted to Kathy Garis, a ministry and outreach coordinator of St Luke's Church in London. How long have you been here?
I'm part of the food bank, and
Yes.
The food bank here in Kensington and Chelsea exists now then a bit more than a year. So we opened up in December 2011, and we are here in Chelsea and Kensington for 1 year now.
And are you very busy?
We are busier now than we were in the first place.
Yes.
There are different boroughs in London, obviously, who are more busier than others because there are more poorer people in some boroughs than others. And our borough, Kensington and Chelsea, doesn't count as a very poor one. So it has become busier, yes. So sometimes we have up to 15 people coming per session. We open twice a week.
Yes. And you just cater for like your local area, yes?
People who live in our areas,
In your
so
borough.
either in our borough, either in Kensington or Chelsea, can go to one of our distributors. So they can be from the GP, there can be some kind of charity working with families, or from the Citizen Advice Bureau. They get a voucher, and with the voucher they come here and get food for free.
I see, yes.
I think the idea of food bank is for a couple of years now in this country. And in the beginning, I think people find it also quite weird to have a food bank. They were thinking it was the government problem. It shouldn't be the problem of the people in the community. But people in the community, they can act quicker. So the ones who have a little bit more, and I don't mean the rich people, just average, if you have a little bit more to buy food, and there are often special offers in the shops, they can take the special offers and give extra to the food bank. So it's not a big amount. You don't need to roll shopping trolleys in here, but sometimes 3, 4, 5 cans can help a family who have nothing.
Yes.
And I think we all maybe been in a situation when money is short, and in a financial situation we think, okay, do I pay my tax, do I pay my debts, or do I buy something to eat? So in that moment when you have a crisis, which we call crisis, it doesn't matter what crisis, you can receive food. And it helps you for the next couple of days to get your minds free and then move on.
And yeah, because you're not thinking about where's my next
Exactly,
loaf of
you're
bread
not
coming
starving.
from. That's right, yes.
And sometimes it's a soup or a rice with pasta, or a simple meal.
Yes, exactly, yes.
Doesn't make difference who comes through our door, so we are not partial who receives the voucher. The main thing is that someone has to be in a financial crisis or in some sort of crisis in their life. So, for example, people who come from the hospital, they have been ill for a while and coming out of the hospital, their benefits have not been located, so they in a period where they need money or they need some food. And for those people it's very easy to just receive food and make whatever they need.
Yes. Do you find that you get many people here that are drug dependent or alcohol dependent?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Not just, but there's a quite
A majority?
not majority
No?
maybe. You can't really tell because
No.
they don't need to tell us what their
No, of course
problems
not, no.
are. But we can tell sometimes when we see the people, we sit down, we talk to them, and sometimes they tell us, yeah, I have drug problems or I have alcohol problems, and we tell them where they could go and get help for those addictions as well.
Oh, that's good. Yes. Well, what kinds of people bring money or donate food?
It really doesn't matter from which background they are. So it can, I have to say personally, I experienced when we had the food collection. So sometimes we go to the big supermarkets and we have a sign up, and then we give people maybe a shopping list, what kind of food we're collecting. And it's very interesting who is taking our shopping list and who is asking questions. And I have to say, those who have not much, not the very rich one, they give a lot. They are very generous because they have maybe been closer to a situation where they felt, oh, I wish a friend had given me some food. So they are very generous. The one who have a lot is not always the one who give a lot. So it's the average people like you and me who really thinks of, I can make a difference. With a little bit, I can make a huge difference for one family, for one day, for 1 week. So yeah, I think it's more the people who have not as much.
Not quite. They've got more than nothing, but they haven't got a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do the supermarkets donate anything?
It's funny though, because here in UK it's that the shops, they have to contribute a social part of their income. They have to make a difference to the community. So they're actually obliged to do something to show their willingness to share their wealth with their community, to make a difference to a project. So they are very keen, obviously, making a relationship with, for example, the Foodbank, because it profits. They tick the box, they help the community, and we get food.
Yes.
So they sell more goods, and we receive them for free. So it's all linking together.
I see. So they don't actually donate the food?
They do as well.
As well?
Yes.
Oh, as well as having the basket there in the front. I have seen it in the
Yeah.
front with the sign on saying food bank.
Yeah, for example, they donated last time 10 or 15% of everything people bought. They donated money as comparison.
That's quite a lot then.
So they
really.
say, if you have 1 kg of food, we donate £1 whatever in money.
That's right.
So yeah, it was rewarding in both ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Do they all do this then? All the supermarkets?
No, it depends. Obviously, the big supermarkets want to shine and want to have, their reputation is at stake, obviously.
Yes.
But also small communities and small shops, they're very eager to help. And they, I think because the food bank is so in the media, and this is one big thing, the media are so essential to put a lot of adverts out or to explain how this whole thing with the food bank works, so that people get more understanding of why it is necessary and what people can do, because it takes, I think, at least 15 messages until one person understands what it's actually. So you have to do a lot of explaining.
Many people are reticent or wary about coming to a food bank.
Yes, indeed.
And they think they can be looked down upon.
Yes. We try to distract them from the start. So when they come in, we try to smile, give them a big smile, give them tea, coffee, and something to eat, so that they feel maybe, okay, it's not as daunting. And then we ask them personal questions. Someone usually sits with them and talks. And as we are a Christian organization, we always ask if they want prayers in the end, which even if someone is not religious, they always appreciate, because they feel really on the edge of, they can cope alone.
The edge of the abyss.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And how do you feel about some of these people that come in?
The people are, they have heartbreaking stories here. It's sometimes challenging to hear what happens to them. For example, I had a situation with a woman who came and said she was abroad for a couple of years and she came back and she lost everything. She was basically almost homeless. And she just started little by little to get back and get her life together. So her children were taken away from her, she got in benefits, and she was basically prostituting herself to come back to the UK. Very, very heartbreaking story. And I have to say, hearing that sometimes makes you feel you are the richest person on earth. But it's also important that we listen to their story, that they're not forgotten, and we want to make sure that we give them a little bit of hope in our belief, and that we think that Christ can help them. And we always offer to pray for them, and it's surprising, even people who are not religious, they they really appreciate that we pray and we sit down and we ask them that Jesus helps them in their life situation, because he has suffered for us. He understands every life situation very well. Yeah, and it makes me often feel very humble to work for the food bank and help those who need very little. Sometimes just someone who gives them some cans of food and a prayer and a talk.
What do you do in the church then?
I work for the church full time.
Yeah,
I'm a ministry outreach coordinator here.
A ministry outreach coordinator.
Yeah, long word, I know. Almost a tongue
What does that mean?
twister. Well, I organize things like food bank, events. I rent out halls here downstairs. I'm the contact person for the church. So when the vicar is not around, that's me.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Everything except preaching.
Well, yeah. Yes, we can't have everything. Yeah. You can't. I suppose you could be a lay preacher or something. Yes.
You could be trained for that if you want to. Yes.
Yeah. And that's not appealed to you.
No. I think it's a vocation if you feel like called to do so. I'm very close to people, and I care for people in all sorts of circumstances, and I think that's my calling to work with people. And I think there are people who are called for preaching and teaching, and I think I'm more a person who walks side by side.
A more hands-on person.
Yes, probably.
Thank you. Do all the people work here for free?
We have mainly volunteers here at the moment. It depends on the size of the food bank, if we have only volunteers or if there's a capacity of raising money for a paid person. So we have at the moment one person part-time employed, and she is here for 2.5 days per week. And she also trains our volunteers, and she makes sure that our voucher distributor or donator, if we have people who want to donate money or want to liaise with us, that she is in contact with them, explains everything, and that's very essential. If you have a person who knows everything very well, is trained and is keeping all the contacts. We have other food banks here in London. I know they are very, very, very busy.
Yeah.
They have sometimes 200 people per week coming, and it's very. So they're bigger, obviously.
And it's
they
getting
need more
all
people.
the time.
Yes,
yeah.
We have grown over 40% in the last year.
Why do you think this is? Because of fuel prices, or?
I think it's not only one reason. I personally think that these people always have been there. Yeah. But now, because of the help is out there, they're actually coming out
of the woodwork.
Exactly. Yes. So we think that the need was always there, but it was not addressed.
Right.
So, as people, I think that we make a difference, and we help people to get out of their situation. So we part of the process.
Yes.
Before, maybe nobody was there, and so it was really under the surface.
Yeah.
So it's a process, I think, when we reach out to those who are in a difficult situation, in a crisis, we help them to acknowledge, I am in a crisis, I need help, and then go to the places they get help. Here they get food, but they also get advice. You can go here, this is a place you can deal with your addictions, this is a place you can ask for your housing benefits, and so on.
Yeah.
So we direct them, but we give them at least something in their stomach. And a bit of hope, maybe.
Yes, whereas before they would just starve.
Indeed.
Basically.
Yeah, or do a crime eventually.
I know very well that 10 are somewhat better off, where one is so totally trodden underfoot by society. But I assert that thousands of industrious and worthy people, far worthier and more to be respected than all the rich of London, do find themselves in a condition unworthy of human beings, and that every proletarian, everyone without exception, is exposed to a similar fate, without any fault of his own, and in spite of every possible effort. Engels, Esquire, 1844. We're seeing people from all kinds of backgrounds turning to food banks. Working people coming in on their lunch breaks, mums who are going hungry to feed their children, people whose benefits have been delayed, and people who are struggling to find enough work. It's shocking that people are going hungry in 21st century Britain. Seamold, Executive Chairman, 2014.